Alright, what's up, people? I know this is like super overdue and everything, and it's kind of irrelevant now, but I just wanted to share my opinions on Uncharted. Now, I beat this game the first week that it came out and all that stuff, and I just kind of got behind on the whole video recording thing and this, that, and the other, so I went back through and played the game again, all that good stuff, so I can kind of, refresh my memory, all that good stuff, so you guys get my opinion on it. Not that it matters, but everybody else on the internet always wants to give their opinions about stuff, so I am too. But yeah, the game is really. I'm gonna start with the online. Now, overall, the game is really good, right? I mean, it's Uncharted. You guys kind of know multiplayer wise from the second one. You got your team deathmatch. You got plunder, different things like that. Now, in this game, as everybody already knows, 'cause I know this, like I said, this video is late, but you got team objective, which they took, at least in my opinion, the worst modes out of from Uncharted 2, being the chain reaction and King of the Hill and all that stuff, and they kind of mixed into this I guess you could say Killzone, Warzone type of mode. For anybody that's played Killzone, each round the mode changes. So you start out playing team deathmatch, and then you're going to capture and hold or something like that, and it just changes each round, and whoever wins the most rounds, like there's like 5 rounds or something like that, right? So whoever wins the most out of that 5 or whatever wins the whole thing. That team will win. Now in Uncharted 3, they've kind of done that with King of the Hill and Chain Reaction, and then they got this other mode called I think it's Treasure Hunter. I call it Smear the Queer. That's basically what it is, where both teams are trying to fight over this one treasure, and then the longer you hold it, the more points start racking up and all that good stuff, and just switches each round. So I actually kind of like those modes now, just because the way that they mix it in, it makes it really fun. The co-op is dope. I really love they did with the co-op adventure, how there's 5 chapters now, and you play through chapter 1, and then it actually has a story that ties together. Like, okay, we got to go to London and get this next clue for whatever, and then that's chapter 2, whatever, and you go through 5 chapters. Really dope. The mode that I don't like, I'm trying to remember what the hell it's called. It's one of the co-op modes. It's not the co-op mode where you're doing siege and all that stuff. It's not called co-op adventure. It's the other one that is basically like siege and survival and all that stuff. But what they did is they made 2 teams. Instead of everybody's being on one team fighting against the AI, it's one team of all people, and the other team has AI, but then there's also a couple of people on the team. So basically, if you get stuck on the team with the AI, me personally, it's fucking stupid, because like the AI is dumb as hell, and you're running around, you ain't got no weapon or nothing. Like, I haven't really played it as much now that I've actually gotten the game, but from when I remember playing in the beta of that mode, I didn't like it. I was like, this is stupid. They should, to me personally, they should take that mode and just scrap it and replace it with like a monster mode, something I've been talking about before. And then they should replace that mode with like a survival mode that they already have, but where you're fighting the monsters or whatever from the Uncharted series instead of just fighting normal pirates. I think that would be a better mode than what they have now. Otherwise, they should just scrap it, period, because I think it's stupid. The thing that pissed me off though about the multiplayer is, for me, it takes too many damn bullets to kill one person. This game is way too fast. It's not as fast paced as like Call of Duty or something like that, but it's fast enough to where I'm sitting there dumping like a clip and a half of these fools throwing grenades down a mainland, and somehow they run away. And I'm not horrible at the game. You guys have seen some of the gameplay videos that I posted on YouTube. I saw on my Facebook, for those of you that know me on Facebook and stuff like that. And I'm okay at the online. I'm good enough to where I can tell it takes too many damn bullets to kill these fools online. Especially now that they add a sprint, you can just run away, which I've done a lot. It's happened to me a lot, where somebody shoot me and I'll just, run away, run around the corner or something like that and get away, or vice versa. I'm trying to shoot somebody and they just sprint off. It's like, nah, fool, you should have been dead already. Shoot with the damn M9 or AK or whatever, dump it, I mean, shooting these fools. Like, I'm seeing the little, the crosshair targets. I'm hitting them, hitting them, and nothing. I'm like, nah. If they can just lower it down even just a little, I'd be happy. It doesn't need to be as low as like Call of Duty or Battlefield, but they need to lower the health on this game, or they need to make the gun stronger. One of the two, one of the two needs to happen. But overall, multiplayer is good. The maps are pretty cool. They got some maps from Uncharted 2, and of course, new maps for Uncharted 3. Obviously, they got some maps that are dynamic, like the ones everybody's seen, when you're in the airplane, jump from truck to truck, and everything's moving and shit. And then you got the train map when you're in London or whatever in the beginning of the map. If you're playing a team deathmatch, you're on, there's two trains going, moving as you're fighting, all that type of stuff. You got the desert level where there's like a sandstorm kicks up and stuff like that during the match. There's supposed to be one map coming out where it's supposed to be like a giant wave and stuff like that, kind of like in the campaign, which everybody by now has either played the campaign or at least seen the launch trailer where he's on that boat. Drake's like, oh, big wave, no, and he's running. It's supposed to be something like that, I guess, where some big ass wave comes in and everybody's like underwater or some shit like that, they said. So we'll see about that. But on to the single player. Oh, by the way, the multiplayer, you can play 2-player split screen, all that good stuff. So onto the campaign. First time I played through, I completed it in 8 hours and 45 minutes. Second playthrough, I actually didn't look. I say probably around the same, about 8.5, 9 hours, or something like that. It's fairly, I don't even want to say it's short because it's paced so good that you don't really feel like, oh man, they just, this shit's, 4 hours long or something like that. But it is shorter than part 2. I think part 2 is probably the longest. Part 1, I'd say it's probably about 7 hours. Depending on, your play skill and what difficulty you're playing on. Because part 1 to me is still the toughest. To me, 2 is the easiest, slightly, and I say 3 is kind of the middle, but to me. But yeah, I think part 1 was by about 10 hours, or excuse me, part 1 was about 7 hours, part 2 was about 10, and then this one's about 8 or 9, so it's kind of in between, at least for my own personal playthrough and all that stuff. But trying my hardest not to compare Uncharted 3 to the first 2 games, which is always hard. I swear every video or reviews I've read, watched video reviews, everybody always compares Uncharted 3 to Uncharted 2, if not Uncharted 1 and Uncharted 2, and it is kind of hard, not to compare 3 to the last one, all that stuff. But just talking about the campaign just by itself, which I understand I already compared Uncharted 3 to Uncharted 2, I was talking about the multiplayer, but anywho, yeah, the campaign is really good. The characters in this one, they did a really good job to me focusing on the characters, but I think a lot of people kind of, I don't want to say they just didn't understand that. I think a lot of people overlook that. Like a lot of other video reviews I've seen, like, oh, the story is not as good in this one, or they didn't focus on this person, that person. The story was supposed to be about Sully and Drake. And if you go into the game with that mindset, to me, you can't be disappointed, because it was really supposed to be about those two characters, Sully and Drake. It's supposed to be about those two guys, right? They said, excuse me, they said this before the game even came out, this, that, and the other, that this was going to be focused on Sully and Drake, because everybody was pissed off about the last game, and they did, how they kind of just like was barely in the game, so they wanted to make up for that. Unfortunately, Elena and Chloe weren't in the game as much as a lot of people wanted to, not as much as I even wanted to. It was just kind of like, okay, here's Chloe, okay, peace. Okay, here's Elena, okay, peace. It's like, damn, those are big characters. They could have been in a little bit more, but as far as the characters that they did focus on, I think they did a hell of a job. Even the new characters in the game are dope. Like, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't played it yet. I'm sure anybody watching this video already knows what I'm talking about, but one of the new characters in the game, he's funny as hell. He fits right in with the already, the characters that are already familiar from this series and everything like that. He fits right in. He's funny as hell. I think they did a really good job on him. Gameplay wise, I mean, it's pretty much the same. Climb. Excuse me. So I'm getting over a hangover. I was like pretty much passed out dead yesterday. I was fucking sick. And I think I really am like cough sick. Last night I was more sick, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, they gameplay wise pretty much the same. You climb, you shoot, all that good stuff. Now for the first time you can go underwater and stuff like that, so it kind of adds a little bit more to the whole vertical and horizontal and all that, all those different, all that shit.